You guys wanted my love story. Ooh, I got hair in my eye. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my love story. So my husband and I met in high school. I was a sophomore, he was a senior. I was 15, he was 18. He got held back a year, that's why he was still in high school trying to earn his credits back. Now, I thought he was talking to somebody else when the school year started because there was this girl that sat in front of me actually and was like, he would talk to her and giggle and all that stuff. So I wasn't really paying attention to him. I actually liked this other kid that was in the class, which I had very low self-confidence, so yeah, I thought I had no chance with anybody. Turns out he wasn't talking to that person, and there was a play that we did, Rumpelstiltskin, in high school, and one day he came up behind me and put his arms around me. I was like, oh, okay. And then we kind of exchanged some notes, some letters, and I thought he was going to invite me to prom. So I went and did this whole elaborate scheme with my aunt on being able to go to prom. Well, he ended up taking this other girl to prom, and how I found out, because I really didn't pry even after prom was done, was she gave him oatmeal raisin cookies on his birthday. He was standing by the door and he hugged her and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting here going, I thought he liked me. Well, eventually that day I ended up crying because I was like, oh my gosh, I really like him. I made a fool of myself. Like, what did I just do?
She's the one who's married to a black guy, and she has 9 children with her black husband. So that goes to show how much Indian females desire and wants black men.
His best friend saw me, because we were all friends, and told him that I was crying, and he was like, she's crying? Like, did she really like me that much? Yeah, fool, I did. Since then, I do not buy oatmeal raisin cookies, not willingly. We ended up talking and we got together. School ended shortly after that, and my dad found all those notes. He ended up sending me to India. I went with him super short notice, maybe like a day or two before he was supposed to go to India by himself. And I ended up going with him. I was supposed to be left there, of course, like majority of Indian little girls that misbehave get sent to India. Well, I ended up coming back and I broke up with him. He was heartbroken that I broke up with him. He ended up going out with a friend of mine, and fast forward a few months, they were still together. She had moved to another state. I was listening to the song Back at One in the car, driving to school. I was like, you know, I made a really big mistake. I really still like this guy. So I went to his house and I told him I still care for him. We got back together and I ended up moving to the other side of Houston. But lucky for me, his job was literally a few blocks away from where I was living. I went to his job to hang out. I had a job, but it was a sales job. You don't get hourly. My parents really didn't care. One day I stayed out a little too late and I was telling my husband, I was like, oh, it'd be horrible if my dad was parked up in the parking lot. He was parked up in the parking lot. I got out the car, I saw him, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot go home. I am not going to make it out of this one. So he was like, no, take this box and pretend like we were out selling or whatnot. I was like, you don't understand. This is not going to go well for me. Well, I got back in his car and we left. So basically I ran away from home. And I called my mom. I told her kind of the situation, or probably fibbed just a little bit. And I ended up going to Utah. So me and him were still together. We talk on the phone and whatnot. My mom was pretty cool about it. Well, I ended up convincing her to move to Houston. You know, of course, it was selfish reasons. But yeah, she moved to Houston. She still didn't like my husband. There was all kind of different drama between them. You already know. A few months later, after my mom moved to Houston, there was still a lot more drama between my mom, my dad, me, everybody. Drama, drama, drama. I actually ended up running away from home again. Moved in with my husband and his brother. So I'm 17. He was 20 at the time. I was gone from October of 2000 to April of 2001. I got a job and I guess I got caught. So one of them found me. He was like a close friend to my mom and knew me. And he was like, you gotta go home. I'm like, no, I don't wanna go home. Went to juvie for a few hours. My mom came and got me. At this time, I'm 4 months pregnant. My mom found out when I went home that night. She's like, you can't do this, have an abortion, you can't have a baby with a black man, he's gonna knock you up and leave you and go to some other girl and knock her up and leave. Yeah, you know, the stereotypical answers some of us get when we are with black guys. Oh, she told me to get an abortion. I said no. A few months later, you know, I had my son right before I turned 18 because I was hoping he would be here after I turned 18 so I could move out, but you know, didn't happen that way. So had my son, turned 18 3 weeks later, and moved out. Now we have been together for 24 years and have 9 kids together. So much for knocking me up and leaving me, because it hasn't happened.
So this is just my opinion, but I would have to say it's Northern Indians are like worse with colorism, because Southern Indians tend to understand colorism and they're also more educated. They have better education than Northern Indians. And I am Northern Indian, so I'm not just talking shit. So I would say Northern Indians are more prejudiced than Southern Indians. So that's just
I would personally will date an African who is like friendly and he can approach me nicely. I would do so.
Y'all, I was watching all the videos of the Montgomery Brawl, the Battle of Montgomery, and I just want to say the delegation of India and all South Asian nations, we support you. We support the black community, and we're so happy and proud of y'all. And we pulling up with our folding chairs from the churches, from the mosques, from the temples, everything. Like, what? This is on another level. Like, so happy for you, and so just a moment of solidarity because we love y'all.
Now, did you hear how much passion she has in her voice when she said that about black people? Now, you can see that this Indian girl, she is into black guys because she is taking up for black people. Whenever you see a non-black female, you know, like going against like racism, or they just take the side of black people whenever something happens, that means that non-black female is into black guys, okay? They don't just protest and march just for the hell of it. They either have a black boyfriend, a black husband, or they're looking for a black guy.
So they're not half black, they're mixed. So my 8 children, technically they're not half. See, I am 100% Indian. Both my parents are from India. From what I know, they're Indian. My husband, on the other hand, is Afro-Caribbean. He's from Trinidad. Come here.
What? What up, people?
So he's from Trinidad, and he's not full black. What are you?
Okay, so my little brother took like a 23andMe? No, it was a 23andMe, so I'm going off of his results because, as far as I know, we're full. we're fully, you know, we're fully related. So according to that, Nigeria, Ghana, Benin, and Togo, 7% South Asian from India. So apparently it's 4% North Indian, 3% South Indian. I have some ancestors from Greece. Greece. So yeah, you know, Trini to the bone, right?
So yeah, the kids are not half. They're a little bit of everything. They're like majority Indian, I guess. But yeah, they're mixed. They're not half, I guess. Goodbye.
Indians be not liking black people.
You are capping. I like black people.